The diner always feels different after midnight. The hum of the old coffee machine, the buzz of the fluorescent lights. It all seems louder when you're the only one here. It's a lonely sound. The rain on the windows doesn't help. It just makes the world outside feel even farther away. Most nights, it's just me, the clock, and the endless stretch of dark, wet highway. You get used to the quiet. Shoo, even start to like it. But then, there are nights when the quiet feels wrong, heavy, like it's waiting for something. That's when he first showed up. The clock had just ticked over to 2 a.m. The little bell over the door didn't even jingle. He just appeared, sunging there, dripping rain onto the checkered floor. He was average in every way. No coat, plain shoes, nothing that would make you look twice. Except for his eyes. They were wide open, and they never seemed to blink. I remember feeling a chill that had nothing to do with the draft from the door. He slid into the corner booth, the one with the torn red vinyl. He didn't look at the menu. He didn't even take off his coat. Shadi stared straight ahead, at the wall behind the counter. I walked over, my notepad in hand. "Coffee?" I asked. My voice sounded strange in the silence. He just nodded. Once. So I went and poured him a cup of black coffee. The steam curled up, disappearing into the dim light. I set it down on the table in front of him. "Anything else?" I asked. He didn't answer. He just kept staring. His hands rested on the table, palms down, perfectly still. I went back behind the counter, trying to look busy. Wiping down surfaces that were already clean. Refilling sugar dispensers that were already full. Anything to not look at him. But I could feel his gaze. It was like a weight on the back of my neck. I kept glancing at the clock. The minutes crawled by. 2:05. 2:10. They never moved. He never touched the coffee. The cup sat there, the dark liquid going cold. It was bizarre. Customers usually want something. A meal, a refill, a conversation. Not him. He just wanted to sit, to watch. When my shift was almost over, just before dawn, he stood up. He moved just as quietly as he'd arrived. He left 2 old, worn-out dollar bills on the table. Enough for the coffee and a small tip. Then he walked out the door and vanished into the pre-dawn mist. The next night, it happened again. Exactly at 2 a.m., he was there. Same booth. Same silent order. Black coffee. Same unblinking stare. He never drank it. He never moved. And just before my shift ended, he would leave, placing 2 old bills on the table. This became our routine. Every single night. I started to dread 2 a.m. The silence in the diner would start to feel heavy around 1:55. I'd find myself watching the door, waiting. I told my manager about him. The guy in the corner booth. He'd say, "What guy?" He said, "I've never seen anyone come in that late." I mentioned it to the other waitresses. They'd just laugh. "You're working too many night shifts, hun, seeing things." But I knew he was real. The coffee cup was real. The 2 old dollar bills were real. So why was I the only one who saw him? One slow afternoon, I was cleaning out an old storage closet and found a box of Old Town newspapers. I don't know why, but I started looking through them. My fingers were dusty as I flipped through the yellowed pages. And then I saw it. A headline from decades ago. Tragic fire at roadside diner. My heart stopped. It was this diner. Or, where this diner now stands. The article talked about how it burned to the ground one night. There was one fatality. A man who was trapped inside. I stared at the grainy photograph next to the story. It was him. The same face. The same wide, unblinking eyes. The article said the fire started just after 2 in the morning. That night, I was terrified. Fog hit 2 a.m. and he appeared at the door. I felt like I couldn't breathe. He sat in his usual booth. I walked over on shaking legs, the coffee pot trembling in my hand. I poured his cup. My hand was so unsteady, a little bit spilled onto the saucer. I set it down. I was about to turn and walk away, like always. But this time was different. He spoke. His voice was raspy, like it hadn't been used in years. "I've been waiting," he said. He wasn't looking at me. Shoo, he was looking past me, at the clock on the wall. "They're closing soon." I followed his gaze to the clock. My blood ran cold. They'd been stuck at 2 a.m. for as long as I could remember. A running joke among the staff. But now, it was moving. The second hand swept silently past the 12. It was too thing. The lights above the counter began to flicker. One by one, they buzzed and went dark, plunging the diner into deeper and deeper shadow. The hum of the refrigerator died. The bubbling of the coffee machine stopped. The only light left was the faint, red glow from the neon sign outside. My heart was hammering against my ribs. I looked back at the booth, and I screamed. Not out loud. It was a silent, internal scream. The man was gone. The booth was empty. The coffee cup, the saucer, the old dollar bills, all gone. It was like he'd never been there at all. I stood frozen in the dark, my breath catching in my throat. I glanced at the polished chrome of the coffee machine next to me, trying to see my own reflection in the dim light. But there was nothing. Just the dark, empty diner reflected back at me. I wasn't there. Then the last light, the neon open sign outside, flickered one last time and went out, leaving me in total darkness. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead. A new girl stands behind the counter, wiping it down. She looks tired. The clock on the wall reads 1:59 a.m. The rain patters against the glass. The front door opens without a sound.